And welcome everybody. Welcome to another webinar here at Nitrogen with us. We're super excited to jump into the content today. Today is all about the reports builder. So our newest reporting option inside of Nitrogen. So we have a lot of cool stuff that we'll talk about regarding reports today. But before we do that, just a brief introduction from myself and my teammate here. My name is Ian. I'm part of the coaching team here at Nitrogen. And joining me today once again is my amazing teammate Stephanie. Stephanie, how you doing today?
Hello, Ian. Doing pretty well. Excited to talk about reports today and have everybody join us.
Absolutely. So, like I said, today is all about making that switch over from our legacy reporting option into the new option here, which is Reports Builder. So, if you're a person that is going into Nitrogen and you're using that legacy reporting option, we're going to talk about exactly where that's at, where the buttons and the points and clicks are. But if you're that person that's sort of stuck on using those old reporting options, we're going to be talking about today how you can make that transition over and how actually it's going to probably save you a lot of time and enable you to create custom tailored reports for your clients inside of Nitrogen. So before we jump into those points and clicks, all the content there, just some housekeeping items that we'll get into here. You may have noticed the lines are muted when you jump in. That's just so that we can focus on the topic at hand. But that said, we want to interact with you guys. We want to get your questions. We're going to have a live Q&A at the end of today. So definitely drop your questions if you have one inside that Q&A box in the Zoom window. If you want to leave us a comment there as well, feel free to use the chat. And we're going to have a few in-session polls today. We love to get sort of your feedback during the session, ask you guys some questions, get a sentiment check there. And then also an after session survey as well for just a general sentiment on how the session went. That helps us continue to make our content even better. So please, please, please interact with those if you can. And then as far as today's agenda, what we're going to be talking about today, what we're going to be learning, like I said, all about Reports Builder. So we're going to jump into how Reports Builder is organized, where you can find it, where you can click and start building those reports, and then building a report template. We're going to jump into creating your own custom templates so that you're not stuck on the old ones and just have to figure out a way to fit all of your clients into those predetermined boxes. And then some branding and customization options that exist out there, and then replicating your existing workflows. Stephanie is going to walk us through some of those old reporting options and then what the parity of the new option looks like today, where you can find similar or even better reports today inside a reports builder. And like I said, we'll have a live Q&A. So stick around for that. If you have questions, drop them in that Q&A box, and then we'll get to them at the end of today's session. But with that, I'm going to jump us into Nitrogen because I'm going to do a little bit of sort of just orientation, getting us the lay of the land, where we can find Reports Builder, where all that lives inside of Nitrogen for us. So if you want to follow along with us, feel free to. If you want to just watch us go through this, feel free to sit back, enjoy your coffee, and we'll go through some of these points and clicks. But here on your home screen, before I even get into Reports Builder, I want to call out our help resources in the bottom right-hand corner. After today, if you're feeling like maybe you're just a little overwhelmed, maybe you don't remember everything we go over, jump into the help resources there. We have a ton of options in here. We have guided tours, we have checklists, we have training webinars, and our quick video tutorial guides there as well. You'll find stuff on Reports Builder in there for sure. And then you can always leverage our support team. So if you click that little bubble at the bottom, just under the help tab or inside of the help tab here, you can connect directly with our support team to ask those questions directly. We have 24/7 support. So if you're sort of a weekend warrior or you like to burn that midnight oil, you can jump in there even after hours to chat with our team. So just want to call that out. But now let's talk about Reports Builder. Where can we actually access Reports Builder to start building out these custom tailored reports? So one place that you can go is always available on your header. You'll see this Reports tab there. You can click into that guy, and that's going to take you directly into the Reports Builder. Now, this is a great place to go if you want to access it at any time. But what I will say, what I recommend doing is first going to a client, because if you do it that route, it's going to take all that client data and auto-populate it inside Reports Builder for you, which we'll see here in just a second. So, Stephanie, dealer's choice, feel free to pick one of our clients here. We'll show the folks where they can access reports. And now, if you're using legacy reports, you kind of know where to go, right? You're going to go up to the create a report there, right there, and then you'll see legacy reports. Now, we even have a cool little new badge next to Reports Builder because we want you guys to use it. It is a better experience. It's going to save you a little bit of time, some points and clicks. There is sort of that initial lift where you're going to get your templates set up. But after that, everything's there for you, and it's pretty much 1 or 2 clicks away. Now, I'm going to call this out right now because I think it's a really cool thing that you guys can do. And if you have access to it, it can actually help you build reports even quicker. So, what I'm talking about here is Nucleus. Now, if you're inside of a client on the left-hand side here and you see this side panel, open that guy. That's Nucleus. Basically, what Nucleus is our agentic AI. This is an AI tool that will help you do actions inside of Nitrogen, right? It's not just summarizing things for you. It can actually create portfolios, proposals. It can send risk questionnaires, and it can help you create reports as well. So if you see Nucleus there, jump in there, give it a test drive, see if it can help you create a report for you. And definitely give it a try there. And one thing I'll say here is if you would like to leave us some feedback, there is that feedback button up there. So if you get a good response, a bad response, let us know how it went. We'd love to see that feedback there. But just wanted to call that out because Nucleus is definitely going to help you guys in the future get actions done inside of Nitrogen. So with that, I've been yapping, I've been rambling on, Stephanie. I'm gonna pass it over to Stephanie. She's gonna actually help us get started inside Reports Builder, show us sort of the lay of the land of the builder and building a report from scratch in there. So, Stephanie, I'll pass it over to you for that.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Ian. So yes, we'll talk a little bit after we show you Reports Builder. Like Ian mentioned, we'll show you kind of that parity, the comparison between the legacy original reports that you might be using today and how you can iterate those in Reports Builder. But first, we're going to show off Reports Builder. So when we go in and use Reports Builder, +1 to what Ian recommended, if you start from here inside of a client profile, Nitrogen will capture this client information for you. So when we go over here and open up Reports Builder, it'll have that client Michael's information saved for us in just a second. So the key with Reports Builder is everything revolves around a template. It all starts with a template. So you'll open up Reports Builder and likely see a few Nitrogen report templates. These are built in, ready to go. Once you customize one of these templates, if you want to customize that, we'll show you how to save them as My Report templates. So if you want to have your own firm's templates that are customized just the way you need them, you can do that. So that is kind of a level up from the original legacy reports that we've offered, where you could go in and print, let's say, something like an investment policy statement, and you get what you get. In the legacy reports, there is no way to change anything. Now with Reports Builder, you can come in and customize these. So I'll go through these kind of item by item. Portfolio snapshot should be included for everyone on Reports Builder. Think of this as like your one-page summary report. If you want to just have a nice, clean, simple report that you can hand to a client or prospect, that would be a great option. Next up, the investment policy statement will be that more robust report that includes more details on the holdings and stress test and things like that. So that one's a little bit more robust. If you want an IPS type report, you'll start with this template. If you have Research Center or Elite as part of your subscription, you'll see portfolio stats overview and stats multi-view. So think of the stats report templates as those more deep dives into the analytics. If you have clients or prospects that like the numbers and the comparisons and things like that, the stats overview is a great deep dive. The stats multi-view is also a really nice multi-column report template. So if you want a current portfolio versus a proposal versus a model versus a benchmark, all of those comparisons you can combine into one place in the stats multi-view. As well as if you have Tax Center as a part of your subscription, you'll likely see that tax snapshot. But the core reports really will be the snapshot and the investment policy statement. So now that I've talked about all that, we're going to get into some action. So we're going to select the portfolio snapshot for right now, and you'll see a couple parts of this screen here. Whenever you open it up in your own account, you'll see an element library on the left. These are all the different pieces and parts of a report that you could include or add to your report preview. So your report preview in the middle of your screen will give you just a visual example of what the parts of your report would include. So everything by default includes a cover page, and everything includes disclosure pages. So right here, the meat of this snapshot report is this portfolio snapshot element. And then I can add information and other elements on the left. And then we would also specify or customize our client information on the right. So you'll remember a minute ago, we were in Michael's profile. We clicked create report. So now we can create a report for Michael specifically. We've included his current portfolio, and maybe we also want to add a comparison of his proposal. So I can come in, I can add a comparison, select the client portfolios, and choose one of my proposals. Now, depending on your report type, you may be able to add additional comparisons or benchmarks. So any of this information that shows up in the purple column on the right, that's the info that you'll specify for the specific client. And you can change things like the portfolio, you can change the client name, so on and so forth. But the fun part comes with customizing and adding and arranging your different elements. So our base here, we have the snapshot piece, and I'm going to scroll through these items on the left. Maybe we like to add detailed performance analysis. You can include that. I know the snapshot, it's kind of small here on the screen, but the snapshot includes like the client's risk number, their portfolio, the portfolio costs, retirement map, etc. So I'm going to scroll through. We see a lot of those similar individual paged elements here, risk tolerance, asset class. I'm going to add stress test because those are a cool visual on paper. So I'm going to make sure those are added. If you wanted a separate page, for example, on portfolio costs, or if you want a signature page, let's add a signature page. And so these elements here on the left will depend on your subscription. If you have Research Center or Elite, you'll get some of these stats components, the size and style, risk and reward, performance analysis, things like that. Stock intersection. So these are all of the different report elements that you can include and customize in your report. So feel free to explore those in your own account. And now when I come here, back to the middle of my screen in the report preview, I now see that I have the portfolio snapshot. I have the added stress test page. Each one is labeled on the bottom left corner. So the print is a little small, but you can see which page. We added stress test. We added the signature page. And since I customized this, if I wanted to arrange these and have one page come before another, you can simply drag and drop. So it's highly customizable. Now, if we liked the order of these elements and wanted to be able to replicate this in the future, which really is the goal, you want to have a template or two that can be your go-tos, that you click into immediately. Everything's just the way you need it. We can click on this report template actions and save this as a template for my firm. So for my account, you can save that as a template, and then you can come back to it again and again. So that's where this sort of one-time setup saves you a bunch of time in the future and can help you scale your reports. So we have that here, and we've customized the client-specific information on the right-hand side. So that's pretty much everything that is good to go. Then you could generate the report. It will open up this report in a separate tab and crunch all of the client-specific data. So in Reports Builder, you'll only see just a preview of what it's going to put together. And then when you actually generate that report, that's when you'll get the actual data. You'll get a nice PDF document that we then recommend either saving or downloading, printing physically. You might see this print button, this download button. You may even see this email button at the top. Email it to your client directly from here. That may be an option. But this is where you can go in and kind of scroll through those different pages that you added and see how the final product looks. So that's how to set up your report template, rearrange the pieces, add elements, save it. There are a few steps, so like Ian mentioned, to sort of initially build out a template. Or if you don't want to customize and you just want to use a template out of the box, that's a super fast way to do it as well. So there's your final PDF document. I will say too, as kind of a story example, an advisor that I was talking with one time came into the reports builder, picked a template, and then went through and added like every single available element on the left-hand side, just for like a one-time use case. And when he added all of those elements and created the PDF, he was then able to see the information right there on paper in front of him. And he just printed it and went through page by page to decide, like, yes, I want this page and this one and this one. So that way he could see the kind of data that's presented on each page from each element of the report. Um, and then once he decided with that sort of physical first sample that he made, what pieces he wanted in there, he came back in, added them into his report template, saved it, and then he was done. And then when you come back to your report template list, you'll have like your firm's report template ready to go. We've also heard from some advisors they like to have a template for prospects, a template for existing clients. So think about your existing workflows, what kind of reports you like to include or offer to clients and prospects, and then create those as templates here in Reports Builder. So yeah, that's how to do it from square one, how to create it and build it out. Ian, anything else you would add before we go into kind of our next topic?
Stephanie, I think you nailed it. I was queuing up in my own brain that story about adding all the elements, taking
Mhm.
it, checking off what you like. So yeah, I think from like you said, it's from square one to the finish line here. I think you really covered it, everything there. So I guess the only thing I would add though is once you get to that generate report, you view the PDF on that separate tab. We do have the email to client option as well. So that's something that you will notice there at the top of that PDF viewer. Yeah, right there. So if you want, you can always email it directly from this view here, or you can download it, save it, print it off, however, whichever way works best for you. Now, as we're here on this slide, or not this slide, this PDF, this first page here of the report, that title page, um, this is kind of a good segue into the next section here. I'm going to talk about how you can make this even more customized, more branded to yourself. So by default, it's going to always show who you prepared this for, right? That client's name, the portfolio snapshot, the report name there, as well as some information at the bottom of the title page. We'll see that it'll show your name as the advisor, the firm name, and your email address. Now, if you want to take this a step further, what we recommend is going into your settings. And then in your settings, we'll see that there's an option there to edit some of your report branding stuff here. So under settings, go to, yeah, so menu, settings, and then there's going to be an office tab inside of your settings. And that's where we can change some of these different report branding options. Now, I'll say here, I'll preface this by saying there are basically two different paths here that you can take depending on your subscription level. Now, by and large, everybody is going to have access to this first page here, this info page, where you can make sure that your office information, right, your actual address and your phone number are correct. And then that bottom part here, you can drag and drop your logo there. So that will populate on all the reports you generate inside Nitrogen. Highly recommend that you come in here and make sure that those details are filled out and that you have a logo dragged and dropped in there. For the logo itself, I recommend using a JPEG. That's going to format really nicely over the white background of the reports. But make sure that you come in here, click on upload those, and then click save. So that's for everybody. Now, the sort of second lane here is going to be for people, those of you that have access to firm controls, which is an add-on, different subscription that you can subscribe to at Nitrogen. You're going to have access to our report branding, which is another sub tab here that you'll see. If you click over into that, that's going to allow you to kind of do the same thing here, but on top of that, you'll have access, the ability to add in your firm brand colors. So you'll be able to upload those hex codes, the primary and the secondary color, and that's going to change the overall look of the reports with your brand colors sort of injected into them to make it even more branded to you. So this is another layer that you could add on here. If you want to learn more about firm controls, we'll drop a link there in the chat because it's not just report branding, there's more to it there. But if you want to learn about firm controls a little bit more, we'll drop that in the chat for you guys. So that is those sort of two options there. Now, another piece that I want to mention, since we're in here, Stephanie, I'll just mention some of the other pieces that might impact your reports. And that is going to be disclaimers. So you'll see in this menu also disclaimers. By default, Nitrogen has some default disclaimers applied there for you. Depending on your firm, there might be some firm disclaimers automatically applied here for you. But if you have your own disclaimer language that you want to add into reports, you can always come into this menu, click on create disclaimer, and copy and paste that information in there. And that will then populate on the reports for you. And one other thing in here is going to be the report attachments. So if we click on over to report attachments, this is a place where you can add in extra pages that will show up on reports. So if you have something like a form CRS, you can add that attachment there to be populated on reports every time you go and generate one. Or the other option here is report attachments. If you have something, maybe like a one-pager on your firm or anything really that you want included with reports, you can add that PDF here and toggle it on in that reports builder view there as well. So that is a few options you guys have for customizing your reports, making them a bit more branded. Again, highly recommend everybody comes in here, double checks the info section, make sure that your firm information is correct. You have a logo uploaded in there before you start generating actual deliverables for clients there. Other than that, Stephanie, anything that you want to add there in terms of branding, report settings, anything like that?
I don't think so. No, it's pretty simple, straightforward. Sometimes folks might not know where to go, but it's always worth double checking. Again, that was in the menu and settings in
Mhm.
your upper right-hand corner. So yeah, perfect. Ian, thanks for walking us through that. I'm going to jump us into our next section so everybody joining us today can kind of think about what reports you're printing now and how you could do or use those reports in the new reports builder. So I'm going to take us back to our client. You'll likely be pretty familiar with the use legacy reports. So if we open this up and think about, okay, what are we printing today? If you open up this legacy screen and you're a big fan of our investment policy statement, then I'd highly recommend using the investment policy statement template in Reports Builder. That's going to be very similar. And you see the same sort of boxes here. Comparisons, pick a comparison portfolio. Number of client signatures, that's included on the IPS as well. And report title. So lots of things that are very similar and that you'll also see inside of Reports Builder. Now, if we open up this legacy reports menu, um, under client reports, these are those sort of individual portfolio specific reports, or client information specific, I should say. So you have the investment policy statement, investment roadmap. These reports are very similar. So the current version, the new version in Reports Builder would be the investment policy statement. If you like either one of these legacy reports, you can do that. Retirement map report, if you like to just go in and create a 1 to 2 page deliverable on the retirement map, that's going to be a report element inside of the template. So you could pull up like the portfolio snapshot report, let's say, and then add the retirement map element if you wanted to have that in-depth look at the retirement map from Income Center. And you could have that in your report as well. Risk number details is similar. There's going to be a risk number element in Reports Builder. So I'll show these off in Reports Builder here. So let's see, the investment policy statement is one of those templates. So if I pull that up, if you like the current legacy IPS, come into Reports Builder and select the current IPS. And that covers the risk number details is this risk tolerance report page, report element. So we have that there. And then retirement map as well is included in the investment policy statement. So if you wanted to start with this template and just remove some of these pieces to specifically focus on, say, the retirement map, you could do that, save yourself a retirement map template if that's one of your go-tos. If I take us back to kind of our report, so we went over those and kind of the comparables in Reports Builder. Under portfolio reports, these are more of the portfolio specific reports, current portfolio, proposed, and the stats reports. So current portfolio and proposal, what I would start with there is, again, the investment policy statement template. And within the IPS template, you'll have current portfolio holdings, proposed portfolio holdings. So you could craft those either way. Again, you can pick the sections or the report elements that are the most valuable to you and save them that way. The stats overview and comparison reports, what you would start with in Reports Builder is the stats template. I scrolled on my screen there too quick. So for a stats report, I would start with the stats overview. For a stats comparison, if you like the analytics, but you want a side-by-side comparison, I would absolutely recommend the stats multi-view template. So this one's cool. Again, it's like 2 to 3 pages. The stats multi-view, you have all of those comparison elements on 1 to 2 pages. It's going to be really nice for comparison purposes. And then I'll take us back one more time to the legacy reports. If you've seen this snapshot report in the legacy, then you can just jump into Reports Builder and use that snapshot template. So as you'll see, there's like comparables for everything that you know and love in legacy reports now. You can go in and have more control in Reports Builder to customize those and create the template just the way that you want it. And then you generate that PDF. You can save the template if you want to come back and use it again. But that's sort of how you can have that sort of one-to-one comparables from our original legacy reports to the new Reports Builder. Ian, anything that you would add in there as folks are trying this out?
Yeah, that was great. I will say this is probably a lot, right? There's just a lot to think about as you're transitioning into using this new tool, and we don't expect you guys to remember everything that we talked about here today, especially when it comes to like, oh, which report do I use for which? Um, but I will say we will. The session is recorded. We're sending it out after emails or after the event via email, so you'll have it to review anytime you may need a little extra help, or you just want to revisit the situation, but also our team is always available to help you out. So if you need help and you want to, for example, maybe you just need to know, like, I'm currently using this type of report on legacy. Which one should I be focusing on? Which elements should I be focusing on inside of the new experience, the reports builder experience? Reach out to our team. We are happy to help you with those questions. Like I said, that chat box is always a place that you can go there. So yeah, I think that was really awesome, Stephanie. And I want to keep us on track here on time. So I'm just going to sort of recap us on what we covered today. So, bringing it all together, what you guys saw today is where you can actually access Reports Builder, where it lives, right? It's in the same spot as where you're used to going. It's just under that Reports Builder button. We definitely recommend jumping there, start exploring it today. Use it a little bit today, a little bit more tomorrow. Just start working towards using it more and more. And then, of course, let us know if you need help if you get stuck. And then building those report templates from scratch. Stephanie did a really amazing and thorough job of showing us how to do that. Definitely jump in there. Start with one. See if you can create yourself a single template. Like I said, there is a little bit of a process to get that stood up for the first time, but once it's done, it's done. It's there. You don't have to worry about it. You just go in there, point, click, and you're good to generate that report. And it's much more custom tailored to you, to your client base. Maybe you want to jump in there and create different reports for different client segments or for prospects, something that you'll use every single time for those clients or prospects, right? So, and then firm branding, we saw how you can change some of those options, whether you're on firm controls or not. You have options in your menu settings under that office tab to make your firm reports a little bit more branded. Please definitely go in there, make sure your logo is uploaded, make sure you have your address and office information entered as well. And then Stephanie gave us a clear path forward for how you can actually replicate those existing legacy workflows for reporting inside Reports Builder. So we covered a lot today, a lot of ground. Again, if you guys have questions, drop them in that Q&A box. We're going to have our live Q&A here in just a moment. But before we get into that, Stephanie, if you wouldn't mind sort of closing us out here with some resources, that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we jump into those questions that Ian mentioned, we'll pull some training resources, just some helpful, handy resources here on the screen as you're going about your daily and weekly use of nitrogen. That help button always is a great go-to. If you have questions after today, you can contact our support team through the help button. They are fantastic for like more immediate assistance. So if you need help right away, if you have a question, chat in there, go into the help center, look things up. That's great and super responsive. Our team can also be reached by emailing coaching@nitrogenwealth.com. And our team also hosts onboarding office hours. So even if you're not new to nitrogen, you can pop in. Right now, we host office hours on Tuesdays. You can pop in, ask a question, get some advice, and then pop back out and go on with your day. So those are office hours, but definitely reach out to us anytime that we can help. We'll go ahead, I believe we'll launch a poll here too as we begin to wrap up. We'll launch our closing poll to get some feedback from you about what you're thinking about Reports Builder, how confident you feel using it. And so we love to hear from you on that. And then in terms of what's coming up next, looking ahead for future webinars, we have our Spring 2026 product release webinar happening on May 12th. So our uh, product team and our leadership team, they'll all be coming together to kind of share with you what's changing, what we're rolling out. We're really excited to constantly, every quarter be unveiling updates and improvements to nitrogen for all of you. So definitely come and join us then if you can, or sign up and get the replay. So that as well. So with that, we'll dive into questions and Q&A. So we'll jump into your questions now.